Well, hello, my Jedi friends. Today we're going to talk about the ultimate in spiritual revenge. The ultimate! So, for everybody that you've been thinking, right, let's get them back. They will have their day. They will have their day, folks. They deserve a bit of shit in their life for what they did. For what they did. We're going to discuss that today, folks. Revenge, negative feelings, feelings of wanting somebody to suffer for what they've done. They deserve to suffer for what they have done to me. Okay, folks. The only reason that I can do that is because we've all been there. We've all been there. There's been someone in your life that has done something so terrible that you can't help yourself but think, I would love it to see a bit of revenge go their way. I would love to see their life collapse. I would like to see the house of cards that they are operating in absolutely tumble down around them, and I will sit there feeling righteously, self-justifiably good because they deserved it. They deserved it, folks. They deserved it. We've all been there. We've all been there, folks. I'm just expressing how it was, how it can be, and how possibly it even is for you at the moment. There are things in life that people do to us that just feel so crossing the line that you can't help but feel, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if karma operated a bit faster than it normally does? I'd like to speed it up. I'd like to facilitate it. I would like a little video camera to watch it unfold. I would like to see that bastard or that bitch thrown in a coliseum to a fight to the death. Well, folks, if you haven't thought these things, then you probably haven't been pushed to the limit and you're probably not watching this channel. You clicked on this video because part of you knows that it's you, that spiritual you has been pushed to a point where your thoughts have entertained. They've entertained all the stuff that I've said, or at least some of the stuff that I've just said. If it resonates with you, if you see it going, yes, Adam, yes, 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 yes. Yep, yes, I'd like to see that. They deserve it. They deserve it, Adam. Yes, they probably do. They probably do, folks. So I'm not here today to tell you that they don't deserve it. I'm not here to tell you that it's unjustified to feel that way. But what I am here to tell you is that from an energy perspective, and as a caveat, folks, just so you know, I'm not sitting here on a self-righteous pedestal. I am doing this as much to remind myself. We all need to continuously remind ourselves because the further along the track you get this, the more unjustifiable the stuff that people do to you is, the harder it is to actually reach this realization of letting stuff go. Letting stuff go. Now, forgiveness is the ultimate in revenge. The ultimate in revenge. Because when people do terrible stuff to you, it's designed to hurt you. And especially if it's a narcissist, they want to see you suffer. They want to see your life fall apart so that you're dependent on them. And I tell you straight out now that the highest form of revenge, the purpose of this video, if you want the nugget, I'll give it to you now. I'll give it to you now, folks. The highest form of spiritual revenge is indifference. It's indifference. Sit with that. Sit with that. That's the highest form of revenge. And you're like, hang on, that's not revenge at all. It's not revenge at all. Well, the people that do you harm, narcissistic personalities, let's take that if you've had to deal with narcissists. Narcissists do stuff because they love the response. They love to watch your pain. The hardest thing for a narcissist to process is that they gave you their best shot, their Rocky Balboa moment, where they smacked you down and watched you writhing on the canvas and watched the count get up to 9. And somehow you managed to get back on your feet. That 9 count and up is indifference to a narcissist. And once you get up from that, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable because you know that you've taken the best shot that they've got to give you, and you are resilient enough to bounce back from it. And the knockout shot, the revenge, is walking out of their life. That's your revenge. In fact, it's not even revenge. That is you respecting yourself enough to know that you're not going to accept that. This is all about boundaries. We talk about boundaries a lot on this channel, folks, and it can sound a little bit airy fairy. So let's bring it to life. A boundary is something, let's be very clear, let's very clearly define boundaries. That if you're wronged once and somebody gets away with something, this is like a business process. We look at it, what went wrong, and what would I do differently in the future? And this is how we always have to live our life. People do stuff. Where did it start to go wrong? Where do I know that they crossed the line and I let it go? And what would I do differently if it happens again? This is the opportunity. However bad anything is, let's take something terrible. You lost your house, you lost your kids, a divorce, your partner took the kids. Your kids have been turned against you. And I hear this a lot, folks. So many people have really suffered because there's been a divorce and the kids have been poisoned against you. Poisoned. They've been poisoned. They've been drip fed the poison. Won't even talk to you now. So there's an example of something that actually eats people up from within, especially empaths. The injustice of it, the unfairness of it. It's a wrong thing. You know it's wrong. You feel it's wrong. There's nobody wants to listen. The courts don't want to listen. The judge will not listen. Your kids will not listen. And your spouse definitely isn't going to listen. And it's sitting there justified, feeling that sense of superiority that they got you. They got you, folks. They got you. Now, indifference is the longer term game. In that instance, and I can tell you that's exactly how it played out in my family. When my parents divorced, I was poisoned against my dad. I didn't talk to him for a few years. Eventually, I wanted answers, and I went and I spoke to him. And my dad waited patiently, and we had a conversation, and we were friends for life after that. And ironically, that actually founded the downfall of my relationship with my mum because I started talking to him, I started seeing things from his angle, and all of the lies and all of the bullshit all came to the forefront. But there was a few years of discomfort for my dad of knowing there was absolutely nothing he could do. Nothing. We've been poisoned, poisoned. And that's it. People will play. People will use kids as weapons in relationship breakups. And that's a terrible thing for anyone to have to navigate. And the reason I bring that up is A, I've got personal experience of it and seen how it plays out. And B, I can't imagine that there's anything more terrible than your kids don't want to talk to you and you know that they've been poisoned to a one-sided argument. And that what's worse for you, especially as an empath, you don't even get the opportunity to give your side of the argument. Door closed. Shut down, folks. Shut down. So there's the bottom line. There's an example of something terrible. Now, my dad playing the longer term game, when he died, we had a very, very close relationship. And here we are in the here and now, and I haven't spoken to my mum for years. And I don't hate her. I just have no time for the nonsense, for the bullshit, for the narcissism, for the shit that she likes to stir up. Because she can't help it. She's wired that way. And I hate the behavior, but I don't hate her. I know that she's fucked up at a very deep level. And there it is. It's taken years to get to that point. But yes, I had to feel angry. I had to go through all sorts of shit. Revenge. I thought about that a lot of times. Suicidal. Yes. Tick, 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 tick. And after all of that pain to come through the other side, to think, actually, yes, that was exactly what I needed. She's done me a favor to get me more independent, to get me to detach, to get me to focus on broader issues than just trying to sort out family nonsense, to discover some sort of purpose in my life. And there it is. It could be a lonely, a painful journey for the empath, especially in dealing with stuff. But the need for revenge is a boomerang, folks. It's a boomerang that always comes back to hit you. You are the person that gets affected, that gets hurt by the thought. Even the thought of revenge energetically will come back and hit you again. And you'll be telling yourself, but I've already been hit. This is all I'm doing is giving revenge. I'm responding to something that's happened to me. What you don't realize from a spiritual level is that you predetermined this to happen. This had to happen to wake you up. That the most painful thing in your life, if you get through it, you'll look back and say it was the best thing that ever happened to me. But when you're caught in that, the only thing that you can think is pain, revenge, and dare I say it, hate. You can start to hate people, hate behaviors, hate what's happening in your life. And that can often lead to suicidal thoughts. So that is the darkest thing. You know, death, the death of a loved one, that can propel people to a dark place as well, folks. But the bottom line is the thoughts of revenge, wanting someone else to suffer, makes you as bad as the person that did it to you, even though you'll say that it's justified. The bigger picture here, folks, is you needed this as a wake-up call. From a spiritual perspective, they've done you a favor. And for that reason, being indifferent to the person, not the behavior, but to the person, being indifferent is the highest form of revenge. Now, I can talk about this for a while. And, you know, knowing this and owning it are two completely different things. And I've known this for years. Even knowing this, it didn't make it easier for me to process through it. And it didn't mean that I only spent a few days in that zone. No, I spent a long time. I spent a couple of years in that spot, folks, just so you know. So I'm not being a hypocrite for you. It took me a couple of years knowing this information to actually get through it and own it, to actually own it at the end. Thank God, it feels like a weight has gone. And I had total control of that decision. But my need, my desire for revenge put the ball in someone else's court and disempowered me to reach my own resolutions. And the same way it will disempower you if you're seeking revenge. Take back control of your life, folks. Assume, even if you just play a game, play a little game. What if I took complete responsibility for my life, knowing that I can't change the behaviors of others? How can I do a better thing? How can I make me feel better? What can I focus on now to put me into a better place? They're the sort of questions that you have to be asking yourself if you find yourself in that zone, folks. So, when you're feeling for revenge, when you're ready to watch the next episode of Gladiator and the lions come in, throw that bastard, throw that bitch to the lions. If you're starting to think that, folks, then bear this in mind that the highest form of revenge is indifference and that there's nobody stopping you from progressing in your life, from moving forward, from being better, from feeling better than you taking an empowered look on this, zooming out and looking at the longer term goals. That if you stay positive, you keep your vibration positive, you're far more likely to have a positive outcome a little bit further down the line. But you might have to wait. You might have people judging you. You might have your kids not talking to you in the short term. You might be very lonely in the short term. You might have to disrupt your life in the short term. But if you put a longer term goal there, folks, that you're just going to stay as positive as you can, and you're going to focus on what you can change and do what feels as good as you can in this moment, that's the ultimate revenge, especially to a narcissist, folks. You thriving, you getting through this, you being unstoppable at the end of this is absolute kryptonite to them. So if you really want to give revenge to those people that have caused you the most pain, then let go of the shit that they did to you. Focus on what feels better. I won't say good because if you're in that zone, you're feeling like shit. Focus on things that feel better and move forward in as positive a direction as you can. And that, my friends, is the ultimate spiritual revenge. Now, by all means, share your thoughts and feelings on this because it took me years to process. And if I'd watched this video right at the beginning of that journey, I'd have thought, who is this prick? So I get it. I get it. I know how you might be feeling about this message, folks, which is why I remain circumspect and I welcome all of the comments that you have on this subject. Bring them on, folks. Bring them on. And on that uplifting note, folks, I will wish you good luck on this journey because this is a very, very difficult and sometimes lonely path. If you want help, if you want insights, if you want other pieces of the jigsaw, if you want exercises to help you along, my Jedi friends, then you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. You will get more. There's another piece of the jigsaw just there. And I wish you well, my Jedi friends, as you let go of all of this bullshit and you feel better one step at a time.